Hey,
Hey
hey,
Joe,
what's up, Marius? How you doing?
good. How are you? Great to see
Everything's
you.
good. Good to see you, man. So,
Absolutely.
so we're catching up
Yep.
after our initial interview about the album. So, New York Knock. I'm curious. So, you got the Live at Dizzy show coming up.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, so let's begin with how has the album been reviewed? How is this? How has it been treating you?
So the New York Knock album has been treating me very, very good. I got a lot of radio play, a lot of good reviews, and not only from like magazines, but also from musicians like he recently passed away, unfortunately. The great Jim Rotondi. He out of nowhere he sent me an email saying that it's one of the best CDs that he has heard in a long time, and that the writing knocked him out. So that meant a lot to me, especially because I did not know him personally, and vice versa.
Wow, that's wonderful. So, talk to me a little bit about this gig. How did this gig come about? Give me kind of an abstract.
Totally. So it's so this is the upcoming album release of my album live at Dizzy's Club. So I recorded an album at Dizzy's Club as well, which has the same songs as the New York Knock album, but they're all live. So it sounds very different, and it's a different kind of energy to it because we're playing in front of an audience, and we're taking a little more risks, I guess. So it's I recorded the albums back to back, and the concerts are going to be on February 6th, 7th, and 8th at Dizzy's Club in the Jazz at Lincoln Center.
I remember one of the first early interviews I did was with Sonny Rollins, and it was when he was doing the live roadshow albums. And I was
Wow.
really digging into his world and getting into how he rolls historically, and he always wanted to do it live. Like being in the recording studio to him was an element of taking away, I believe, from the feeling of improv. So my question to you is this, ripping a page out of Sonny's philosophy. Did you feel like there was a more relaxed, even though you knew you were recording it, did you feel like there was a more improvisatory, relaxed environment of presenting this live versus recording it?
Yeah, it's very different. Mainly also because you're not only recording, but you're also, presenting yourself, and you're setting a show, putting a show together. So uh, well, I mean, I guess for me, the safeguards went off a little bit because, you're playing, so yeah, you're not like in the studio trying to record, but you're playing and recording, so it's very different. Yeah.
So I remember back in, I believe it was 2015. Are you familiar with the Hammond B3 organist Chris Hazelton?
I am not.
Okay. So
Sorry.
he spent some time in New York and learned under Dr. Lonnie Smith, and he's been a real
Mm,
stalwart on the Kansas City scene.
right.
He had an album that he put out with a band called the Boogaloo Seven, and it was at the
Okay.
Green Lady Lounge, which is one of our premier places in Kansas City. And I remember being in that crowd and the
Hmm.
feeling of it and the excitement and all of that. There's just something inherently special about that. Talk to me about the significance of Dizzy's and just having that group of people that knew something special was going to be minted on wax forever.
Yeah, I mean, Dizzy's Club is for sure. It's such a beautiful and iconic venue. It's in the heart of New York City, and you got the view right on Central Park. Um, and there's definitely a kind of an air to it, which it's a big deal for me to play there. So it that definitely it lifts your spirit. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you've been New York Knock, obviously, with the album, now with the live,
Hmm.
you've been promoting and being a part of this project for a long time. I would imagine in a new year, with everything going forward, you're probably ready for something else. So my question to you is this: how ready are you to move on from this and move on into other pastures?
I'm very ready, actually. I I pretty much got all the songs ready to be recorded, but I need to figure out the logistics yet. and everything that comes with it. But the songs are ready. So
So talk to me a little bit about how you're feeling about things. We got a new year, new administration. America is always going through these metamorphoses. How
yeah.
are you feeling about the music, the scene, New York City? How are you generally feeling right now?
Well, New York City is just the place for me to be, right? And I think it will always be. It just, yeah, it feels like home, and there's so much going on. It's music, the music is very alive, and there's such great musicians. So yeah, that's a never-ending source of inspiration for me. Yeah.
So the most important thing right now is how can people pick up the live recording or catch the release party or anything that's coming up? What might be coming up after this? Anything that's on your radar?
Totally. Yeah. So the easiest would be just to go to my website, www.mariusvandenbrink.com, and that's where sell all my albums, but also put on my upcoming concerts and shows and information about, releases and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will make sure to put it in the show notes. Marius, thank you again for reaching out. Have a wonderful show. I have to get up there one day. I always think about the story. I believe it was Cyrus Chestnut that told me this. I've never been and seen shows in New York yet. And I remember he said the first time that he ever did, a lot of the clubs you got to climb down steps.
Yes.
And he came up and he literally was in such shock that he was there and he saw a show that he just fainted. He just fell. And
Wow.
I feel like that might happen to me.
I hope not.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, if anything, I'll make sure that there's something soft that's gonna
Yes.
loosen
Or
my blow.
somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It would be great. Well, man, hey, thank you again. Have a wonderful show. It's great to see you, and I hope that we have a rendezvous again. We catch up with the new material
Absolutely.
whenever it
Yes.
comes out. So, yeah, and send my love to New York City, man. I appreciate it.
I will. Thank you so much for having me, Joe. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.